What is up, everybody? So, this is my review of Thomas Szasz's The Myth of Mental Illness. I'm going to start with the quote. The quote is directly correlated to Semmelweis's life, a man who discovered that washing your hands could prevent childhood bed fever in the 1800s. And that obviously didn't go well in the 1800s because people were very close-minded somewhat. And he ended up being incarcerated and then committed to a mental asylum for that thought. And he died alone in a mental asylum in the 1800s because he discovered that, which later turned out to be true. So here's the quote. It taught me that at an early age that being wrong can be dangerous, but being right, when society regards the majority's falsehood as truth, could be fatal. That is a big one. And he goes on to say artists paint pictures and people become or act disabled. But the names, and hence the values we give to paintings and to disabilities, depends on the rules of the system of classification that we use. Now, this book is about saying that mental illnesses are not non-existent, but how we treat them, how they manifest themselves in the body, and how they are named could be a myth. Could be something where we don't fully understand certain perversions and how they manifest themselves, or certain he's not in this book, he's not saying that they don't exist. He's not saying that you have cognitive thought that may manifest itself in a way that you perceive as pain, or you perceive as uncomfortable, or you perceive affects your perspectives on other things in life. He's not saying that that's not true. What he's saying is how we classify them, how they get warped around into the political system, into the health system, into the law, the system of law, and how it's perceived in courts as insanity and these kinds of things. These things are human constructs. These are things that we have created and have been treated differently over the years, yet they haven't changed. Cognitively, we don't know what's going on. At bottom, in my opinion, from what I read, at bottom, it's a guess. You don't know. Pain manifested in the mind is different than pain manifested from a brain or an organ. I'll make that very clear in this next quote that I'm going to do. This one's lengthy, and I did do preparation now because I'm taking this a lot more seriously because I'm actually enjoying this. So remember what I just said, the mind and the brain. So this next quote: when people hear the term mental illness, they act as if they were unaware of the distinction between the literal and metaphoric uses of the word illness. That is why people believe when finding brain lesions in some mental patients, for example schizophrenics, that would prove, or has already proved, that mental illnesses are diseases of the central nervous system, like paresis. Then, they are diseases of the brain, not the mind. It's very important. And if they are names of misconducts, for example, using illegal drugs, then they are behaviors and not diseases. A screwdriver may be a drink, or it may be an implement. No amount of research on orange juice and vodka can establish that it is hitherto unrecognized from a carpenter's tool. This next sentence is very important. Such linguistic clarification is useful for persons who want to think clearly, regardless of consequences. Such linguistic clarification is useful for persons who want to think clearly, regardless of consequences. That, for me, if I had to sum up not the book, but some of the thought process and how he put out this book, that sentence is key. It's key. Now, there are things I don't agree with, and not agreeing with it is I feel strong. But it's strong because this book is so nuanced and idiosyncratic, and also specific in a lot of ways in how he describes things. But I don't agree with some of the things that he put forth, which could be due to lack of intelligence, lack of experience in the field. But he also has a few chapters where he discusses linguistics and language, and he shows he has a lot of expertise in that matter, and how it's almost unfair, because we only use words and language to convey what's in our heads out of our mouths towards other people. And when someone has mastered that art so well, it's difficult and almost unfair, a playing ground to try argue with them, at least for me currently in this state of where I am, in my vocabulary and understanding of language. So he ends the book with this final quote, and it felt like a mic drop for me when I read it, so I'm gonna say it. The old quack peddled fake cures to treat real diseases. The new quacks peddle fake diseases to justify chemical pacification and medical coercion. The old quacks were politically harmless. They could harm individuals only with the individual's consent. The new quacks are a serious threat to individual liberty and personal responsibility. They are agents of a therapeutic state who can and do harm to individuals both with and without those individuals' consent. Theocracy is the alliance of religion with the state. Pharmacracy is the alliance of medicine with the state. Pharmacracy is the alliance of medicine with the state. That, my friends, if that's not pertinent now, in 2021, after everything that's happened in the last few years, if that's not pertinent now and that doesn't resonate, I don't know what will. Theocracy is the alliance of religion with the state, and pharmacracy is the alliance of medicine with the state. That was a mic drop for me. So it was a quick summary. I'm trying to keep these to 10 minutes. I'm taking these a lot more seriously. I have I made a lot of notes while I was reading, and I enjoy this. I think it's one of the best ways to tackle these kind of this kind of subject matter as an amateur, someone who loves it, someone who's doing it because they want to, and does not prescribed certain things and is seeking this out themselves. And yes, I am very happy with how things are going. And on to the next book. I'm going to be reading this next book called Modern Man in Search of a Soul by Carl Jung. Shout out to Matt. He's the one who recommended it, and he's going to be reading it too. So yes, we're going to move on. Moving on in the same path. I am enjoying this a lot, but I'm also going to be adding I might be adding different books at the same time that are fiction, that are maybe not psychologically driven, maybe more fiction, more poetry, maybe I'll read those at different times throughout the day. However, I hope everyone is staying safe. Merry Christmas, everyone. This is a very strange time, but things are lightening up. Let's lighten our hearts to everyone. Let's be kind to one another. It's not hard. Accept one another, love one another, and understand that you are the source of your own happiness. You are. And if you can't sit by yourself for a few minutes or even 30 minutes, you're in bad company. So, next book, Modern Man in Search of a Soul by Carl Jung. Stay healthy, stay wealthy, stay happy, my friends, and take some time off social media. I did it this week and it helped a lot. Anyway, love you all. Have a Merry Christmas, and until the next one.